Hello, everybody. Welcome to Open Studio on WJOP LP Newburyport, FM 96.3 and Channel 9. I'm delighted to welcome Vicki Hendrickson here this afternoon for Open Studio. She is the Director of Newburyport Adult and Community Education, and she's going to be talking to us about the exciting and diverse array of offerings for the winter semester. But first, Vicki, as someone who has taught and taken classes through adult ed, may I thank you. You are the founder of Newburyport Adult and Community Education.
Well, you're welcome.
And I'm curious to find out what led you to decide that you wanted to launch an adult and community education program in Newburyport.
Well, I'm going to try to give you the short version. First of all, I was a substitute in the school system that my kids were in, and I got very involved in the schools. In 1990, there was one of those cutbacks, like 2008, any of the times when we had...
They happen cyclically.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
And so I don't know if you remember Frances Brejnahan. I don't know how long you've lived here.
No, I'm a total newcomer. I've been here for 3 years. But in Newburyport, that's a drop in the bucket. We have people here who are like 12th generation.
Yeah, well, I'm not that. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and went to college in Mississippi.
Okay.
And, but I moved here in the 80s, in the early 80s, and got very involved in the schools, as I said. And so Frances was really an enormous leader in the middle school. The middle school, not middle school, was a model school for Massachusetts. And he had so many new and innovative programs there. And with these budget cuts, it looked like a number of these programs were going to go by the board. So only 17%, and I don't know that it's changed much over the years, in 1990 of the people who, the population, had children in school. So I thought, well, now, wait a minute. It strikes me that having the schools open to more people would be a good idea.
Yeah.
And so how about adult ed? Oh, well, we've tried it, and, some people researched it, didn't work. I thought, well, excuse me very much, but I didn't try it. Thank you very much. So anyway,
good for you.
I did a lot of research. Maine, of course, has an extensive program, but also in the Massachusetts area, many communities, Brookline, Newton, Concord, Lexington, they all have extensive programs. And so I just went around to those places and talked to the directors and found out how we could get started. So and I had a little steering committee also. And so my notion was to start very small. But so with about maybe 6 classes, something like that, some, computer classes and physical fitness, things like that. Okay, so I put, I was interviewed by the paper, and I said, if you're interested in teaching, then da-da-da. Well, I was just overwhelmed with people who were interested in teaching.
Oh, an idea whose time had come.
So we had 40 classes.
Wow.
And also 2 other things happened. Toll Silver closed, and the I can't remember the name of the shirt factory, but there was a shirt factory that closed as well. So, and this was a time when most people did not know how to use computers. So the state was paying for people to get computer training. So many of the people who came to the computer classes, their tuition was paid by the state.
Oh, excellent.
But we didn't have online registration, and we didn't have little catalogs like we have now. I just mimeographed sheets of paper.
I remember mimeograph.
And took them around to all the churches and, all the restaurants. But we had something like the first night, we had 300 and something people show up.
Wow,
and all
that's
stand
impressive.
in line in the middle at the high school, and so it got off to a roaring start.
Wow, that's impressive, and the rest is history, as
well,
they say.
It's sort of a bumpier history than is just a straight line. so my husband and I left after that first year and went to Waterville, Maine, where he became the editor of the paper. And so it was sort of handed off because nobody knew, there was no institutional memory to show people how you put this thing together and how you make it work. And so it was just handed off to a secretary, and then it was handed off to somebody else, and then that didn't work out, and then eventually Turning Point took over. And so by the time I got back, it was sort of on its last legs. But by this time, in 1998, when we moved back, by 2002, when I started it again, I had a master's in adult education from UNH, and so I was ready to start again.
To relaunch.
And Hacky Pramberg, you may have heard that name in your life. Well, he was president of the Institution for Savings for a long time, and also the head of the Eric Kalian Foundation. And he gave me a significant amount of money to get started.
Excellent.
So I had a nice little bankroll to begin.
Wonderful.
And so, I mean, we sort of fly by the seat of our pants. We're kind of hand to mouth because adult ed, as in all communities, the salary of the director and any of the administrators and the teachers and all of the other people has to be raised by the adult ed program. It's not part of the line item on the budget for the schools or for the city. And so subsequently we get a number of grants that help us. So we have tuitions, but that still leaves me with about $50,000 more that I've got to come up with. So anyway.
So there's always a challenge.
There's always a challenge, yes.
But there's always a really fascinating array of classes.
Well, we have amazing people here. We have amazing people that live in Newburyport. I mean, it's really a wealth of riches.
It
I mean,
really is.
Yeah, exactly.
I certainly find that to be true with the radio show.
I
that
bet
do
you
on
do.
Fridays.
Yeah,
it's stunning to me. Often, just the amazing people we have to draw upon in Newburyport.
Terrific. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Well, let's talk about what's happening this semester.
Okie doke. Perfect.
First of all, I would love it if you could talk to us about the Lyceum, because it's different from some of the other classes, and you're doing some.
Yes, I usually teach one of those. Well, the Lyceum is pretty much a daytime program, and God bless the Newburyport Library and Mary Perry and Giselle Stevens for their patience with me, because I sometimes get so confused which class is running when and which room, but they're very kind and very patient. So we started that after we started the more skill-based program. And the skill-based program primarily is in the evening. So that would include languages, art, writing, physical fitness, all of those kinds.
Too,
computers, selling on eBay.
Boating safety.
All of those kinds of things. Yeah, exactly. So those are evening classes, but we wanted to have something that could attract people who were interested in a more intellectual kind of discussion class as well. And we sort of modeled it on senior college, which is a concept, in many schools, it's a concept that was fostered by the Osher Foundation. So there are Osher learning centers throughout. Yes, Well, so, but those are, you have to be a member, and they're not really pricey, but they're more expensive than our program. So I got another group of people together, and then I started finding out about a number of retired school teachers who, several of them were with Phillips Academy. And then other retirees who had come to town who were college professors or people just interested in learning about something. Many people may remember Norma Beat. Well, she lives, I think, in Brookwood now in Andover, but she and her husband Harvey went they taught with OSHA Learning Centers in Phoenix, Arizona. And so I talked with her at length, and she said, really, the most interesting thing for me is to find a topic that I want to know about,
Yes.
research it, find out about it, and then offer a class in it.
I totally get that. If
Yeah,
you want to learn about something, teach a
yeah.
class in it. Yep.
Exactly. And so we've had amazing classes over the years. One of my favorites was Peter Spellman's class on Polish poets, because I discovered Wassily Szymborska. And she's
Congratulations on pronouncing
well,
that.
I don't think I got it right. I mean, I don't know how many.
Well, it was persuasive to me.
Did it? Good. But of course, Rena teaches a class every fall.
Rena Spyatt,
Oh
yes.
yeah. Oh
Uh-huh.
my goodness.
Yeah.
And she's one of our local heroines. I mean,
Yeah.
she's
a local treasure.
Yeah, she is. And
Yeah.
Inga Winnick and
And
Susan Swan.
Right,
Exactly.
who came to the morning show. Did a wonderful job.
Oh,
talking
yes,
about
that's
James Baldwin.
yeah, James
She
Baldwin.
was
Yeah.
you can see that she was a wonderful teacher.
Yeah, she is. She is. But there are many people. I'm not mentioning everybody, but they're really terrific teachers.
Tell us about the one you're doing.
Well, the one I'm doing is called Fierce Attachments, and it's by Vivian Gornick, and she was a hotshot feminist, and she's still
remember,
alive.
yeah.
Okay, I think she's in her 80s, early 90s, and so this is a memoir, and it's really about her relationship with her mother, and it is hysterical. It's bawdy. So I can't read any of it
Okay, fair
on the
enough.
radio. But she grew up and they lived in a tenement in the Bronx. And while the ethnicities have changed over the years, when they would go back, it was just the same. They thought it was just the same. It's just, the groups had changed a bit. But it was a scrappy place. And
I'll bet.
And the mother was sort of the queen of the tenement. And then Vivian went off to City College and became a little more erudite than Mama.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's just great as long as you're not showing Mama that you're brighter than she is.
Yeah.
And as long as she can brag about you, that's terrific. But if you're trying to show down, then it's a little different. So, but it's just light and it's very funny and
sounds like a lot of fun.
It is.
Wonderful.
So I'm excited about it. Yeah.
Well, apart from the Lyceum, I know there are a lot of skills-based classes, the foreign languages, physical fitness. Vicki, what are some of the ones that you'd like to draw our attention to? Either new ones or classics or unusual ones?
Well, we have quite a dance program this year. We have tap dancing.
I'm signed up for that.
Are you? Good for
I
you.
am, yeah.
Good for you. And we have square dancing, both beginning and advanced.
Wonderful.
And we have belly dancing / gypsy dancing.
Have you had that before?
Yes, we've had that.
Okay.
Now, Janet Johnston is an amazing teacher. She is an astrophysicist at MIT, and she also is a dancer, quite an accomplished dancer, and a costume designer. And oh, by the way, she sings opera and writes science fiction.
A Renaissance woman.
Yeah, totally. And she's just an amazing teacher, but she really can convey, and she teaches tarot card reading.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. So, yeah. She's a hotshot.
She's like an adult education center.
Yeah, among
of
ourselves.
one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, that sounds fun. And what else is coming up that you're excited about?
We always have John Tavano teaching guitar. And if you know him and his work, he's amazing. He's a classical guitarist, but he teaches electric guitar as well. I mean, as part of this class, you can bring an electric guitar too. And then Ann Halter teaches voice, singing outside the shower.
Yeah, which is a great title.
Yes, and so those are our musical contributions. We have a couple of good writing classes. Elizabeth Rose is teaching Getting Started as a Writer, and Angela Cleghorn teaches memoir memoir writing, and Elizabeth Barrett is teaching the Writer's Workshop. So
Wonderful.
we have some good writers and good writing teachers, foreign languages, and also English. We have a number of English classes and a number of people who are interested in taking English classes.
English as a second language?
English, well, it's called, I mean, there's so many acronyms. It's ESOL, which is English for Speakers of Other Languages.
Oh, okay.
Or English Language Learners.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
ESL, English as a Second Language, presumes too much.
Okay,
So
I'm out of touch. That's
it's
an
all right.
old-fashioned
It took
term.
me a minute myself, and I hate acronyms because I never can remember what they stand for. But yes, we have someone who's helping us create an evaluation system, and we really are trying to keep the price right down.
Yeah.
So it's $80 for 8 lessons, and they're 2 hours each, and that is either private lessons or group lessons. And some people prefer one, other people prefer the other, and we are putting a real emphasis on parents of students who are ESOL, ELL students
Okay.
in the Newburyport school system or in any school system. I mean, you know, we're not, you can take adult ed classes regardless of where you live.
Yeah, right. Well, that seems to me like a wonderful service to offer to people.
Well, I think so,
And
yeah.
it's really
yes.
important. So.
And we have Spanish and Italian and French, and that's it.
Well, that covers the European bases.
Yeah,
so
that's
fair
right.
enough.
Except for Germany. We don't have German yet.
I am curious about some under the business and employment classes. I noticed you have one with a wonderful title. It's called Outsmart Your Smartphone.
Oh, well, Tomas Havar teaches that. And I don't have a smartphone, I have to confess. I'm still a flip phone girl. But for people who do, and it, just as I've tried to look at my husband's or my kids, I think they're overwhelming.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even begin to imagine.
Yeah.
And also, since they're such constant companions, I
Yes.
mean, it's not as though you're not totally glued to this thing. And so I think that it's a good class to offer, and we've had good success with it.
Yeah, I'll
It's
bet. I
popular.
think
It's
a
very
brilliant idea.
popular.
I don't have a smartphone either. I have a
Oh,
not
I'm
very
so glad to
smartphone.
hear that. Yeah.
Partly because I'm intimidated by them.
Me
And
too.
if I had a class like this I knew I could go to, I might develop the courage to dip my toe in the smartphone waters. Now, there was another one that caught my attention under interesting endeavors. Stars in Your Eyes, beginning fortune telling.
That's
Is that the
tarot club.
Okay,
Yes,
so this is
that's
the one
Janet.
woman, or the Renaissance woman.
Yes.
Now, have you dipped your finger in that? Have you taken
Oh,
that?
I have taken it. There are a few classes that I haven't taken. Many of them I have taken. Yeah, yeah. I have. I don't take so many now because I have this infirmity, this hip thing, and so I don't like to be out until 9:30, and so I leave a little bit earlier.
Sure, I understand.
But anyway,
that.
but we have plumbing 101, which has been tremendously.
I noticed that too, and that's also brilliant and important and possibly life-saving.
Well, you know, Jack Christensen works at Lowe's, and he got in touch with us and said, I'd like to offer this class. And it is just so popular. And Lowe's provides all the equipment that
Wonderful.
he needs. Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
And people enjoy it. I mean,
I'm
he
sure they
gets
do.
so excited to show them how to unplug their sink. I mean... You know, it's good.
I often think, I know that there are things you could learn how to do yourself and save hundreds of dollars. Because if you know what you're doing, they're not that hard, and the equipment, the hardware is not that expensive. So I think that is probably a life-saving class.
Well, yeah, it's worked out.
Now, another one that sounded really fun and exciting for me was under Food and Wine. And it looked like they've done this before. Foods of the Mediterranean region.
We have.
Can you tell us about that one?
Class is sold out.
Oh, already.
Yes, it sells out very quickly. But that I will give you some history about that. The Greek Church has very generously offered to use their facility, and this time we have new faculty. We have Daphne and Maxine, and I'm just trying to remember their.
Oh, yeah, Daphne Tekelis
Yes,
and Max
Maxine Forward. Yeah, and they're charming.
Oh, wonderful.
Just charming women, and I've taken that class 3 times, and it is so much fun because you always get stories about how this particular entree or dessert or whatever was served at a particular event, and I mean they're just wonderful little anecdotes about the foods.
Anecdotes accompanied with Mediterranean food. You can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. That's right.
It just sounds like a feast of learning.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It is. Great fun.
Well, are there any other classes in particular that you would like to draw our attention to?
Well,
make sure people know about?
I'm just trying to think. We have digital photography, which has been tremendously successful.
That's popular.
Yeah, it's great, and we do have some slots left in that. And contemplative photography is an interesting class. Ingrid Syros is teaching that, and it's really sort of a meditative kind of class, but I think will be very, very good. And so those are the photography classes are really terrific. And then this year we're offering botanical illustration with colored pencil for the first time, and that's we've got some openings in that as well. But that's really for people who know how to draw already.
Okay.
It's not for beginners who are just learning how to draw.
Right.
It's
More to
really,
develop a specialty
you need
if they're
to
interested
you need
in
to
that.
have a little
Yeah.
drawing background.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Well, appears to me that there's something here for everybody.
Well, that's what we hope. That's what we hope.
Now,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, I know that you're having a fundraiser.
We are.
And I thought it might be interesting for people to know about the fundraiser coming.
Yes,
Because
and
as you mentioned, in the world of adult and community ed, there's
we got to bring in the bucks.
you got to bring the bucks
yeah,
in somehow.
you got it.
And tuition, because you keep it reasonable, as you were saying before, isn't always sufficient to
cover the cost. Well, Rena offers a class every fall, and so this past fall she offered one in Wise, Wonderful, Willful Women Who Deserve to Be Remembered.
Which is such a great title.
I know. And so there were 23 people who participated, and so they were charged with, it was called an epistolatory class, which means it was letters.
Oh, yes.
Epistolary.
Okay.
Is that how you
Yes.
say it? Okay. So she had them find someone, a woman in ancient history or current history or that they knew of, who spoke to them and write a letter to them. And then from that first letter, which was, I think, not necessarily it was a prose letter, not a poem, a poetic letter. Then they started writing poems, and some of the range went from antiquity through current day. And so we thought, well, these are terrific. I mean, some of the poetry is just mind-bogglingly beautiful, and the events that are covered are also amazing. And so we thought, well, this would be a good fundraiser for us to have, and so we're having it at Beth Welch and Chuck Christensen's house on the High Road, and so I think we'll have 6 readers maybe for about 5 to 7 minutes each, and then we'll have another one at the Actors Studio, but I don't know the date yet.
Okay.
And I think there are going to be several of them because we've got 23 readers.
Wonderful. And I see this first one you're talking about is Friday, March 6th.
That's correct.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. And if people want to get more information. Actually, if people want to get more information about the fundraiser and the classes, Vicki, where should they go?
I would say the website. And the website is, I think, Very easy to use, very user friendly. It's www.newburyportadulted.org.
Yes.
And if you just Google Adult Ed, Newburyport Adult Ed, it'll pop right up.
Yeah, I've used the website, and so I will vouch that it is very straightforward and informative and easy to use.
Good.
And get your questions answered there.
Good.
So,
I'm glad to hear. I hate complicated websites.
Me too. There's a genius in a straightforward, functional website. Absolutely.
Exactly. So yeah, that's we've just got a lot to offer, and I think people can look at the catalog, and that's always fun to look at a catalog and imagine what you're going to take.
Absolutely.
And then you can go sign up online, or you can just send us a check with the registration form is in the very back of the book.
Yeah, and you have PayPal now too.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I just want to mention that the cover was designed by Mary Pollock, who's a wonderful local artist. We pride ourselves in our covers, and so I think this is one of our best.
It is a lovely. It's a beautiful cover.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah,
I'm really proud of it, and she's a wonderful artist, printmaker primarily, and just really terrific.
Vicki, thank you so much for visiting Open Studios to tell us about this exciting semester.
Thank you for having me. It was great.
It's fun. My pleasure, and I'm actually taking 2 classes.
Good. What are you taking?
The tap dancing, as I mentioned.
Good.
I love tap dancing. I used to take it years ago, but this is a beginning class, and so I can ramp up my skills and then move on. And what's it called? Strength training.
Oh, with Eunice.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't mention Eunice. She is a hot shot. You will be so strong by the time you get here.
I can use it.
Yeah, that's right. I should take it myself.
Well, thank you so much, Vicki. It's
my
been
pleasure.
a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you for having me.
And it's just wonderful to learn about. And thank you once again for launching this. I think it's a great service to the community. And many people I know have benefited from it. Thank you so much, Vicki.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.